This is a stun shot. We have a tiny bit of a right hand cut here. So it's the same concept as if you're trying to stop the ball. And you are stopping the ball from moving forward or backward. But because it's a stun shot and there is an angle, it's going to come back up table just a few inches. I only need a few inches to get right on this two ball. Right hand English here will make sure that the cue ball doesn't come off the top rail and go right or come straight back up and hit that 8. We're just trying to steer the cue ball around the 8 to bounce off that rail and come straight back up table on that 3 ball. So bottom right here, but don't stroke this cue ball. You're just kind of rolling it up. So the truth of the matter is I went way too long on that 3 ball. I was trying to shoot it in that bottom right hand corner down there and get straight in behind it so I could just draw back a little bit on the 4 and be able to easily get on the 5 from there. So now I have to figure out how to get back in line on this 4 ball so I can get on this 5. So this is just bottom, just put a good draw stroke on this and you're going to bend the cue ball down to that bottom rail. Let's take another look at that 3 ball shot and I'll explain why exactly I did what I did. And this is the same thing as a draw shot, so if the 3 ball was straight in the pocket, the cue ball would draw straight back at the shooter. But obviously we have a cut shot, a right hand cut shot on this 3 ball to shoot it in the side pocket. So the cue ball can't draw straight back. And the reason we're shooting it like this is to avoid hitting that 9 ball and avoid scratching or just disrupting the table, because the table is actually planned out, the run out's planned out in my head. I'm just trying to execute it. And since we got bad on this 3 ball and we didn't get to where we want to, I have to re-strategize the entire rack. The original plan was to get straight behind that 3 ball to shoot the 3 in that bottom right hand corner there, and then to pretty much get straight in on the 4 ball so I could draw to the left hand side of the table and get on the short side of this 5, and then to just roll up on the 6, and from there it's just a gravy rack. That got all screwed up when I went long on the 3 ball, so now I have to re-strategize the whole table and shoot the 3 in the side and then get behind this 4 ball to shoot it in the top right hand corner to draw back and get on that 5 ball for a shot in the bottom left hand corner. It's bottom left on this to spin it down to that right hand side rail and spin it off the rail and a little bit further down the table back toward me. Just straight top here, because the angle coming off the 5 ball, if we just shoot straight through the 5 ball, is going a little bit down table and is the perfect angle to get the cue ball against the rail. That's what I'm shooting for, get the cue ball frozen to the rail, that bottom short rail, and because the 6 ball is far enough off that rail to have the perfect angle to get back on this 7 ball. And it was I'm putting top left on this ball, but I put a little too much left on it, and as soon as it hit that side rail, it took off back up table, and we went long on it. So this is a touchy little shot, so just learn from my mistake there. We went way too long on the 7, and that was because of all that left-hand English I had on the cue ball. Yeah, that was really bad. If I had to do that all over again, I would have just wussed that 6 ball in and just rolled up behind that 7 on the left-hand side of it. So here we are with a pretty difficult shot, which again I shoot all wrong. I have a whole table, the whole left-hand side of the table to get to on this 8, and I wind up coming back on the short side of the 8. Basically, this is what we have. And we're going to shoot this 7 ball in this corner, and knowing that the cue ball is going to come off the 7 to this rail at a certain angle. It can't help but bounce off it and go to for a slight angle off this end rail. It's going to come off that rail at the exact opposite angle, and that's coming straight back up toward where this cue ball is now. The correct way to shoot this is with top left. So when the cue ball bounces off the 7 ball and comes down to this rail on this angle, the natural angle going back to the short side is killed, and it comes back into this gray rectangle here. And this is your margin of error. You can get anywhere in this gray rectangle and still have a great shot on the 8 while easily getting back down table on the 9 ball. If you shoot for this side and just let it go naturally, your margin of error is much smaller. This is cut down by more than 2/3, so you have just a tiny little rectangle on this side. So a lot more can go wrong if you shoot it naturally for this side than if you shoot for this great big margin of error on this side of the 8 ball. So not thought through, just being mentally lazy. There's probably a number of things I can blame it on. It all comes back to myself. It's just something you live and you do it wrong, and you learn and you practice, and you practice doing it right. And that way you never make that mistake again. That's the best you can do. Center ball and just a hair of bottom here. You're not trying to draw anything. You're just making sure you hug that right hand side rail when you bounce off this 8 ball and bounce off this rail. And I see my wrist and my elbow is moving all over the place, but nevertheless, center ball here. You don't want to do anything fancy here. You get a pretty easy shot on the 9, and there's no sense in making it more difficult. Just make the ball, keep it simple, and win this game. Few mistakes in that rack. Learn from your own and learn from mine, and your speed of improvement should be twice as fast as a normal person. That's the best you can do.